Pack a bowl, my friend, and don't forget to pass that blend. Pack it up, my friend, and then we'll ride up and we'll smoke in the ashes in the end. Pack a bowl, my friend. Pass me that blend, would you? Welcome back in, y'all. It's good to see you here on Sunday afternoon, 4:42 Central Standard Time from the great state of Texas. Greetings from the great state of Texas, y'all. Thanks for stopping by and chatting with me for just a little bit here. Y'all, I ain't got much today. I haven't had a chance to really get into this here craft room. I mean, I have a little bit, but only to do some repairs and things of that nature for some things I had going on. But I've been really busy, so I haven't had a chance to get in here and create something new. And I apologize for that. I know that some of y'all look forward to that. I do too, actually. But I haven't had a chance for that. But anyways, I got something. I like history, y'all. We're going to read some history a little bit here. And on tobacco, for those of you that are interested in that. But let's get into it, y'all. Today I am smoking my Bing's favorite by Savinelli. Rusticated. I got the slightly brown stem there with a little bit of caramel shimmer inside there. Gold ring. Yes, sir. Do like this pipe. This is one of my favorites, y'all. Really good, really nice. I mean, someday I'd like to have a real Bing's favorite. But this is Savinelli's version of it. This is Savinelli's take on it. And I do quite enjoy it. And in the bowl, y'all, is some Cajun Cake by Cornell and Deal. This is a, yeah, it's got Perique and what's the other? Oh, Virginia's, right? There's one main one, Naturally Sweet Virginia's, just the right amount of everybody's favorite Perique. I swear to God, it's got something else in here, but it doesn't say it. Virginia's and Perique, y'all. Red Virginia's. I swear there's something else in here. It's a crumble cake, for those of you that didn't know. Yes, sir. Cajun Cake by Cornell and Deal. It's a good one. It's the Perique is not as strong as I'd like it to be, but it's still good nonetheless. Let me get that lit up again. Yo, I like history. Especially when it's told right. Especially when it's told true to fact. Nowadays, sometimes there's things that people say, and we're not quite sure if it's true or not. So we just kind of have to take their word for it, take the book's word for it, all that good stuff. But I do like listening to what's supposed to be history. And I ran across this article on smoking pipes. Now, I don't pay too much attention to all that stuff. Tobacco and pipes has a little area too, but smoking pipes actually has a pretty extensive and impressive area if you want to read good articles on tobacco. And I ran across one that really caught my eye and was really interesting. I'd like to share that with you today, y'all. And we're going to go to that. That is, of course, like I said, on smokingpipes.com. For those of you that are familiar with the website. And this here is the history of Baren tobacco. Found out some things in here, y'all, that I just didn't know. And quite honestly, didn't know was true, or I didn't believe, that it could be true at the time. But I'm inclined to believe it now. Um, but it's a very good. The article was written on April 12th of 2024 by Mr. Chuck Stanchion in the area of tobacco talk there, like I said, on smokingpipes.com. Their daily reader here, as it says at the top. But here we got a picture of Harold Halberg sitting in front of his tobacco shop, which later on today we know it as H&H McBain. Very nice there. So it doesn't say when this picture was taken. I'd like to have known that. Or probably in the 1800s, I'm sure, because the article starts out in Swedenborg, Denmark, on the coast of the Baltic Sea. A very small tobacco factory with the name of Esbonalekis Tobacco's Fabrik opened in 1826 and did business primarily in snuff and chewing tobacco manufacturing. It continued for 50 years, never seeming to attain much success, and in 1887, its owner lost it in a poker game. Wow, y'all. Ain't got much money left. I'm just going to go ahead and put up my business here, and because I think I got a good hand. Well, evidently not, y'all. The winner of that poker game traded it for a horse and a barrel of whiskey to Mr. Harold Halberg, who had recently completed a 4.5-year education in tobacco rolling and chewing tobacco. Wow. It was an education taken very seriously. It took longer to become a certified spun tobacco master than it took to earn a bachelor's degree. I can imagine back in those days, y'all. Halberg applied his specialty and knew what he was doing, expanded the company, and made it a family business that evolved into one of, and here's one of the facts, y'all, that I did not know, one of the largest manufacturers of pipe tobacco in the world, what we know now today as McBain. Can you imagine rolling tobacco for 4.5 years, says Per Jensen, a retired heat blender of McBain, before you got to grade as a spun master? Nope. Nobody today can imagine that. It was an education that was discontinued in 1964. The very last graduate became a production manager in Oliver Twist. Well, there you go. So there was a time, y'all, where you could go to school simply to get a degree in tobacco. How about that? Discontinued in 1964, though, for those of you would-be degree earners of today. Early history says after acquiring Esbonalekis Tobacco Fabrik, Harold changed the name to Harold Halberg Cigar and Tobacco Factories, and later changed the name to Harold Halberg Tobacco Factories on its own. He was educated in spun tobacco, says Per, and he was a roller. That's how he rolled, y'all. He made a new product called Gentleman Twist. Never had that one. I wonder if it's still around. Which was a smaller version of spun tobacco that was easier to have in your mouth. Well, there you go. That's why I haven't had it, because I don't chew. Without developing too much saliva. Well, that would have been a problem for me, y'all, because I'm a very wet smoker. In fact, let me light this guy back up. Says it took a great deal of time and hard work for Harold to develop the company into a thriving business. He faced a considerable competition, I can imagine. You have to remember, says Per, that in 1887 there were around 400 factories in the Denmark, and there were 4 factories in Svevenberg itself. By 1900, however, Halberg was the only tobacco company left in Svevensburg. And today, says Per, there are only about 2 factories in Denmark making smoking tobacco. Besides Baren, there is Scandinavian Tobacco Group. I haven't heard of them. Maybe some of y'all have. But Baren supplies more or less, if you take into account all of the subsidiaries, between 60% and 70% of all pipe tobacco smoked on this planet. So like I said, y'all, that's something I never would have thought of. Baren supplying 60 to 70% of all the pipe tobacco smoked on the planet. That's crazy. Generational evolution is the next headline. Harold Halberg left the tobacco company to his son, Einar, who also served as Svevenberg's mayor at the time. Einar sent his own son, Jorgen, to the U.S., good old U.S., in 1939 to learn about tobacco. But during that time, it became the time of the Second World War that broke out, and Jorgen was stranded, unable to leave the United States because of World War II. Well, he started working on tobacco companies, working with them with tobacco products, says Per. He also worked with pipes and pipe tobacco producers. Of course, in the almost 6 years he was stranded here in the United States, he learned a bunch. Oh, I bet. When he came back to Denmark, he had some new ideas for a line of pipe tobaccos. And those ideas became a line of pipe blends that would be given an English name because the company wanted to avoid the possibility that a Danish name might be misunderstood for German. I can understand that, y'all. Right after World War II, for those of you that know your history, anything that had to do with German or Germany, Deutschland, that was a bad name. That was a no-no. That was a nasty word. So very sad there for just the normal people of Germany, y'all. There's a great, huge community here in Fredericksburg, Texas. They speak their own style of Deutsch. They call it Texas Deutsch. Either way, so during that time, if you wanted to say you were German, that was something you kind of wanted to keep quiet. So I can imagine why they decided to call it a different name for fear of being labeled as maybe you're a bad German person. You all know the word. But it goes on to say that, so they gave it that English name to avoid the possibility that, the Danish name would be misunderstood as German. Following the war, the German name was unpopular with consumers, as we just talked about. Serious consideration for the line was given to the name MacLaren. MacLaren. Laren. But there was already an automobile by that name, as well as an airplane. So Jorgen changed the letter, says Per, and it became Baren. How about that? There you go. In 1887, there were around 400 factories in Denmark, as we just talked about. Here are some older tins, I suppose, of Baren. Got a golden blend here, ready rubbed. It's an extra, mild extra. They got a Scottish blend here from Baren. So look like some older tins. Those would be nice to have, y'all. Among the first tobaccos of the new line was the Golden Blend, as we can see above. And its success was based not only on the blend itself, but the marketing tool that Jorgen, remember this is Harold's son, discovered while in America, providing samples to consumers. Offering samples, and people will try it, he says, offer them. And if it's good, it will succeed. The Golden Blend did indeed succeed. In April of 1958, the mixture was introduced and similarly marketed. Within 3 years, says Per, the mixture had taken 25% of the Danish market for pipe tobacco. There you go. That's pretty big percent right there. So evidently McBaren knows, or did, and still does, know what they're doing. It also helped that the heavy English mixtures were popular in that time. Wives didn't like the smell of English blends. And if you look at McBaren's advertisements for the 60s, they clearly emphasized the pleasant aroma of the mixture. It was more than a pipe smoker who made mixture so popular. It was also their wives. So evidently, normal English blends, the wives didn't like the smell. But when you get to the Scottish blend mixture, I guess the wives liked it. Good aroma. Demand skyrockets is the next headline. The popularity of Harold Hellberg's tobacco McBaron blends, especially the mixture, required an upsizing to accommodate demand. And in 1975, a new factory was built in downtown Svevenburg. Without mixture, says Purr, there would be no McBaron today as we know it. Even now, mixture accounts for almost half of the McBaron labeled tobacco produced. I'm going to have to try this mixture, y'all. Have any of y'all tried that one? So it must be good because it's very popular according to this article. It's the most popular blend in all of Denmark and Germany and continues to rank very highly around the world. What do you think, y'all? Have you tried the mixture from McBaron? Let me know. Success was based not only upon the blend itself, but the marketing of the tool that Jorgen had discovered. Yes, we read that above. So popular was McBaron's line of tobaccos and so recognizable was its name that Harold Hellberg Tobacco changed its name to McBaron in 1995. Well, there you go. So until 1995, it was known as Hellberg's Tobacco, Harold Hellberg. Jorgen Hellberg died, unfortunately, in 1996, leaving the company to his son, Heinrich, who continues to run the operation to this day and has overseen enormous growth. A large part of the growth came with a contract in 2002 between McBaron and Swedish Match, which owned Borkum Riff, and asked McBaron to produce it. Well, there you go, y'all. If you like the Borkum Riff, McBaron evidently produces it, at least as of 2002. It was among the most popular brands of tobacco in the world and comprised almost half of McBaron's total output. The company found itself dependent upon this part of its manufacturing, so it was devastating. It was a devastating development when the Scandinavian Tobacco Group merged with Swedish Match and announced that it would be moving Borkum Riff manufacturing away from McBaron. Well, there you go. So 2002, for a little while, they got to manufacture Borkum Riff, but I guess not no more because they sent it over to Scandinavian Tobacco Group and Swedish Match. McBaron was given a year to divest itself of the Borkum Riff, and any company faced with losing half of its production finds itself in difficult times. I can imagine. That was very, very, very dark days in McBaron's history, says Purr. But McBaron learned an important lesson from the experience and became determined to produce only those tobaccos that it owned. By the end of the year, it had increased production with new blends and made up for the loss, a feat that most companies would not have been able to accomplish. There you go. The advantage of family-owned business, I can imagine, y'all, McBaron is a family-owned business rather than shareholders anticipating quarterly returns. As big corporations, y'all, you got those shareholders that throw the boot down on their people to pump it out, we need more. So being family business, they didn't have to worry about that. They could just concentrate upon their tobacco and not have to worry about shareholders. That's awesome. When you have to perform every quarter, says Per, sometimes a decision you make is not in the best for the future because you need to show immediate profits to your shareholders. McBain doesn't experience that pressure, of course. So, if there's an idea we think will be good for the future, then it can be done without thinking about what will happen to its profits for that quarter. Well, that's good. The company was also producing tobacco for the Imperial Tobacco Group, which brands such as Caspian, well, there you go, and Three Nuns. Well, I didn't know that, y'all. I'm so used to seeing these brands, but I had no idea that McBain actually produced them, Caspian and Three Nuns. They're all brands that McBain brought outright. They bought them in 2015. Well, there you go. 2015 on, McBain owns Capstan and Three Nuns. How about that? That was one of the biggest investments for the company ever, says Per. We are taking really big numbers now. We're talking really big numbers. Large production numbers in pipe tobacco, however, are very small in comparison to cigarette production. Boo, cigarettes. Ugh. Yeah, I can imagine, y'all. R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris, and probably, unfortunately, cigarette tobacco is in more demand, I can imagine. Imperial Tobacco didn't even send a message to the stock exchange because the sale didn't have any influence on their results. Wow, we were just sitting there with our empty pockets, he says. But they had a remarkable expansion. That purchase also included Amphoria, a line of tobaccos, as well as many other brands specifically for Spain and France, including Scarfaletti Caporio. I totally butchered that one, Yar. Scarfaletti Caporio. Well, as close as I can get, y'all. It's the very old French brand, he says. Well, there you go. I can't speak French. The brand was named for a corporeal for a corporal. Well, there you go. Corporal in the army named Scarfaletti. Scarfaletti. That's killing me, y'all. Killing me. Who delivered tobacco to the troops there. Scarfaletti, corporal. Corporal Scarfaletti is a kind of tobacco delivered to the army. It's recognizable for the cigar leaf in it, producing what became to be known as the French taste, y'all. It's in cigarettes too, and the French. Oh, I'm gonna kill this one too, y'all. Garlucius and Gentanis cigarettes. Wow. They have a very cigarish taste because of that cigar leaf in the tobacco. McBain, who also acquired all of the Planta blends when they bought Imperial's pipe tobacco, so they have a lot of production going on and are beginning to run out of manufacturing space there. There are no immediate plans for expansion or moving to a more spacious location. There are no more square meters left, says Per, and if possibility comes for a bigger facility, I'm sure it will happen, he says. Even if you say that pipe tobacco is in a declining market, it could be, but it's not been felt by McBain. So, yeah, I have read about that, y'all. They say things go up, things go down, such is the economy. But McBain evidently has not felt the squeeze on that, and that's good. Evidently, 60 to 70% of the pipe smoking world smokes McBain. I mean, I myself, y'all, McBain right here. Of course, I'm on one of my favorites, McBain's Old Dark Fired. There you go. How about that? Baren has expanded dramatically and is dedicated to pipe smoking around the world. Pipe tobacco is their specialty, and they make an enormous amount of it. I would think so. More than any other company. And it owns many of the brands that smokers depend upon. Even here in the United States, Sutliff Tobacco, how about that, is owned by Baren. And Sutliff alone accounts for an enormous footprint in the pipe tobacco market. But it's only a small part of the Baren operation, it says. This influence is the importance and has been certainly become important for a few that have been anticipating it for 150 years ago. When its original factory seemed worth only a barrel of whiskey and a horse. How about that, y'all? So, some pretty cool history there. I like the idea that it, told you some history all the way back, of course, and it went through World War II. It evidently made its way through there. Of course, at the beginning, finding out that the company was lost by its original owner in a poker game. And that winner of the company traded that company for a barrel of whiskey and a horse to Harold Halberg. How about that, y'all? Crazy. But nice history there, y'all. I did not know that Baren was as large as it was. I didn't know that it owned and produced so many other different brands. Sutliff comes to mind, of course, Capstan and the Three Nuns, and some others. And I'm sure there's probably more, y'all, that they didn't mention in this article. It must be. So really cool stuff there to know, y'all. Thanks for listening to me muddle my way through that article. I found it entertaining, and I hope that y'all liked it too. Learned something maybe that you didn't know. I definitely know more now about Baren than I did before. There you go. And most tobacco companies, y'all, that have made it through all the years and all the pipe tobacco makers such as Peterson and Savinelli, and those are the two big guys. You got all your drop downs from there. They had to roll with the economy as it went up and down. I had to roll with all the wars, World War I, World War II, all the skirmishes that they had around the world, which could affect their businesses. But they somehow were able to make it all the way through until today. There's a few companies out there that didn't make it, y'all, but they were bought up by larger companies. Such as Dunhill buying up my Ben Wade. I have a Ben Wade pipe, which I did history on it and found out that they had a long run but didn't make it in the end. But Dunhill bought the rights to make the pipe and made it for quite some time after that. So it's really interesting, y'all. If you're gonna smoke tobacco, if you're gonna enjoy your pipes, enjoy your tobacco, it's nice to know a little history, y'all. Nice to know what it is that you're doing, where it came from, where it's going, possibly. Some of y'all call this a hobby. Well, this might be something to know, to be able to spout off some history amongst your friends. Might be impressive, y'all. Anyways, let me get this pipe lit back up again. I'm still in the midst, y'all, of working on my truck, showing it some love. I've been doing a lot of that. And I've gotten up here a couple times in the craft room and done a few things, like I said. Nothing of interest to y'all, just repairing some household things and situations. That's what I do like, y'all. Nowadays, it's been so commonplace that if something breaks, well, you just go out and buy a new one. I'm of the school that if something breaks, you should fix it, y'all. Like I said, I've had my truck since 2008. still going. I'm still fixing her. If I have furniture that breaks, I like to repair it, bring it back to life. Um, Too often, y'all, people just throw things away, and then they just buy new. Um, that's due in part to where we get our stuff. The Chinese people are good people, y'all. They just put out some products that are not too, let's just say, longevity is not their forte. Um, but they've made them cheap enough that you can just throw the old one away and get a new one. I personally, and like I said, I become loyal to things, y'all. Sitting in my favorite chair. I can remember growing up, my parents had furniture the whole time I was with my well, when I left when I was 18. But the same couch in the living room and easy chair. And when it had gotten so outdated and worn down, my dad took the cushions into a upholstery shop and had them redone up, brought them back home, put them on the couch, and we were ready to go again with the same couch. Um, they had it for as long as I can remember, y'all. Um, Nowadays, it's so easy to just throw your couches out on the curb and get new ones. Um, but I tend to like to keep things around, y'all. It becomes familiar, it becomes comfortable. And having this craft room does help me to repair things, along with all the tools I have in my garage and things of that nature. Um, it's something I enjoy doing, and probably something I'll do until God takes me back home. But either way, y'all, as soon as I can, I'll get back up in this craft room, and we'll get something going that we can be proud of and show to y'all and give away. But I hope y'all have had a good week as we face this new work week. I hope it has been as good as it possibly can to you. I hope you have a good week coming up, y'all. Good food, good family, and something good to smoke, y'all, as always. Until next week, y'all, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you. Pack a bowl, my friend, and don't forget to pass that blend. Pack it up, my friend, and then we'll ride up and we'll smoke in the ashes in the end. Pack a bowl, my friend. Pass me that blend, would you?